Hello fellow songsters, my name is Ben Aaron, and this week's song is called I'm Gonna Love You, and it was inspired heavily by the famous bluesman named McKinley Morganfield, better known as Muddy Waters. All week, the only thing I listened to was the best of Muddy Waters, which is why this week's song is heavy on that modern Chicago blues flavor. That means I added a lot of amplified harmonica, played a simple 1-4-5 blues progression, and most importantly, sang with some authority. Yeah, baby, gonna tell you what you're gonna do. Here's a little songster tip. If you want to get a distorted harmonica and vocal sound, run a cheap microphone through a cheap guitar amplifier and then mess around with the EQ, you know, the highs, the mids, and the lows until you find that right sound for you. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, yeah. A fellow songster, Rob Grady, had a question from last week's video asking for tips on how to write original lyrics for songs. Well, it's your lucky day, Rob, because I'm coming up with 5 tips to help write original lyrics. Tip number 1, write the music first. When you have a melody to write words to, you've taken all the infinite possibilities of rhythms and syllable combinations down to one general idea, and that's 80% of the work. So tip number 1, write the music first. Tip number 2, pick one subject. A song can be literally about anything, any person, place, idea, or thing, so it's important to narrow those ideas down into one subject and write it down. I chose work sucks. So tip number 2, pick one subject. Tip number 3, expand on that subject. Find words that relate directly to your one subject. Sometimes using a thesaurus is helpful to find relatable words. Here I found 9 to 5, being late, the boss, and Mondays. Anyways, tip number 3, expand on your one subject. Tip number 4, rhyming dictionary. Take those expanded ideas and main words and try to find rhymes for them. For example, for 9 to 5, I wrote down kick it into overdrive or dead or alive, whichever seems to fit better for the song. And then for making a buck, I wrote that the clock is stuck. In any case, keep it simple, keep it relatable, keep it understandable. Tip number 4, rhyming dictionary. Tip number 5, run the tap. You know how after winter the garden hose is all filled with brown water? You gotta let that out before the clear water comes in? Well, your brain is kind of like that too when it comes to creativity. Sometimes you gotta let whatever flow out of your brain before something good comes out. Write it down, get it out of your system. There's a term called brain crack, developed by the great Zay Frank, one of the earliest online vloggers, and he said, don't become addicted to the idea of a perfect idea. Sometimes you just gotta try and try again and get that gross brain crack out of your system. A great dog once told me, sucking at something is the first step to becoming sorta good at something. That's why every week I actually write 2 songs. The second one is pretty good, but the first one is the first thing that pops into my mind and is usually crap. That is why I give it to our animator Arthur Penns and he makes a cartoon out of it. And that's where this week's cartoon of the week comes from. It is called I Like Chow Mein.
I like chow mein. I like mashed potatoes. 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 Do you like chow mein? 'Cause I like chow mein. I like chow mein. I like mashed potatoes. Yeah!
Did you hear the song? That was awful. That was the brown water in the garden hose. That's the first song that I came up with this week. It was stuck in my head and I needed to get it out of my system. And now, here's a slightly better song called I'm Gonna Love You. So please enjoy the following.
It's Monday again, 9 to 5 in the want you to, babe. I'm gonna make you feel good. Space is out of place. You're making a ball, but your clock is stuck. You're pulling your time, pulling it apart. Let me pour you some wine and fill you with time. I wanna leave you when the working is through. When the work is bad, I'm gonna make you feel good. You make more work and your boss is a jerk. It's hot as hell when you're busy yourself. The rent is due and you overdrew. You come back home, babe, I'm gonna treat you good. I'm gonna love you when the working is through. When the work is bad, I'm gonna make you feel good. You feel good.
Thank you for listening to my song. I'm Gonna Love You, and all my songs can be found at benaaronmusic.com. And if you would, please leave a comment down below for me to sing, like these beautiful comments from last week's video. You are absolutely right about being honest and authentic. Looking a bit knackered though, do what you love. Channeling Johnny Cash, that bass line is classic. Your content is awesome. Giddy up, mate, I love Johnny Cash. You made a splash with your tribute to Johnny Cash. Wonderful tune that you made. What happened to the joke of the week, man? That backyard had so many friggin' games, I wanna be there. Thank you for the comments and the love, you guys. I really do appreciate it. This week I played 7 gigs and made $105 in single dollar bills, which brings me that much closer to getting an electronic drum kit. I can feel it! A sincere thank you to all the people that put a little money in my tip jar. You really do keep me alive and doing what I love to do. Anyways, next week I'm gonna be listening to Woody Guthrie, but until then, keep on practicing and get out there and play.
Musical cat names: Paul McCartney, Elvis Presley, 9 Inch Tails, Cats Domino, John Cougar Meowing Camp.